Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SCUM. Version 1.0 is out, and I wanted to do a beginner's guide to help you if you're just getting started with this game. This is a ultra realistic survival game, and when you get started there are two things that you can do. There's multiplayer or sandbox. Now, if you've ever played a game like Rust, multiplayer is where you can go into PvP servers with other players and you can play. Servers do reset, and admin can set the conditions of the servers. But overall, we're going to ignore this for now because I'm going to be focusing on sandbox so that we can teach you the game effectively. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new character. It's going to give you some options to name your character. I'm just going to call this Woody. And then we're going to have to give some attribute values. Now, it really doesn't matter what you do here. Some people have specific preferences. I'm just going to leave them as standard. But there are four to consider: strength, constitution, dexterity, and intelligence. There's also some changes you can make to your body, including removing the concealed mode and adjusting some settings if you want to, but I'm just going to leave everything as standard for now. We're not going to edit any customizations. I'm just going to jump into this skills section. Now here, this is really important because when you're starting, you want to consider your strength, your constitution, your dexterity, and your intelligence. Now you can level things up throughout the game, but you're going to need to work on these things to be able to level them up. So at the start, I'm going to put my points into both melee and archery because they are two things we're going to consider. I'm going to put my points into both running and also endurance, just so we've got some skill in that. I'm going to put my points into thievery, so I can help with that. And I'm also going to work on a little bit of stealth as well. Okay, the last thing I'm going to work on is some survival. I'm going to put half of my points into survival and the other half are going to go into medical. Now you can go into other areas, but these are the things that I think when you're starting out will give you the best chance of survival to first get started. Now instead of medical, you can go cooking. You can go for survival, cooking and medical, totally up to you. You can even pull points from a different area like dexterity. You can remove stealth and put more points into int if you wanted to as well. I'm going to leave that as it is for now. That's going to be our startup. We're going to click create. It's going to create our criminal record. I'll explain more about that in a moment. And it's going to ask us if we want new player protection. So for the first 2 hours after spawn, you will not have puppet hordes from being triggered. What this means is if you make a loud noise or if you do anything, you may end up attracting a horde of what are called puppets. They're like zombies. And so if you want to turn that off, also the dropship, it won't spot you, which means you won't get attacked. There's also mechanoids in this game as well as zombies. There's also NPCs in this game. So they're like real players, but they're going to be AI. So you've got the puppets, you've got the NPCs, and you've got mechanoids to deal with. And so what this does, it gives you 2 hours. It's not going to be completely without threat. I mean, there's the threat of yourself, which is probably the worst threat. But there are still going to be threats. They're just not going to be as intense if you just jump straight in. So I'm going to click yes. We're going to enable this. We're then going to go for a very quick introduction video to give you some backstory, and then we'll jump into the game and get started.
My life was a peaceful one. Even so, I never realized how full my heart was until they ripped it apart. They took everything from me! Now I'm on the island, just like hundreds of poor fucks who share my fate. And just when I started thinking I can make it, Tech 1 is at my throat again and again. I swore to myself I would survive. I refused to be just a memory. A beautiful lie. Death was never an escape. This time, I'll decide how it ends.
Okay, so now that we get the understanding of how the narrative of this game plays out, we are a prisoner on an island. It is being televised. And so the end goal is to try and escape the island. Now in version 1.0 that's released, you can't actually do that, but you can get fame points. So fame points are things that you can acquire simply by killing people, crafting, surviving, all of that good stuff. But in order to do that, we're going to have to first just survive with the basics. So we're going to be dropped into a map. We can pretty much go anywhere we want. We are kind of handcuffed or bound at the moment, so you have to wait till our hands get free. As soon as that happens, we can go ahead and press the F key to open up our parachute. Then we're going to kind of choose an area to land. So we're going to just look around, see where we are, see what we can see. We can press M to have a little look at the map to see we're in this little area down here at the bottom here. We can see there's lots of buildings along here, towns and things that we can go and loot and check out. But for now, just to get started, we don't want to go anywhere too built up and too big. So we're just going to head over this side here, just so that we can get the starting points sorted out without getting into too much trouble. All right, so we're just going to land over here in this kind of open up area. Now we're a little bit orientated. We know where we are on the map. We can come back and deal with that a little bit later. So for now, we're pretty safe. There's nothing that's going to harm us at the start from when we land. We're going to land in a safe area. So looking at where we are, and you can land anywhere, by the way, in any sector randomly in the map. It just so happens we're down here. There's different biomes to consider as well when we look at the map, which we can access by pressing M. We've got the kind of snow biome up at the top here. You've got the kind of forest biome, which kind of wraps around the snow biome here. You can see that with this dark green here. We've then got what is going to be the kind of desert biome, which you can see. The desert biome kind of looks like the forest, but it's kind of speckled. You can see it's kind of a different shade, and we've kind of got that. And there's also technically kind of like a Mediterranean kind of biome as well. But they're the three main biomes you've got to consider. It's going to be kind of like almost like not like a desert, but like a hot biome. You've got a forest biome, and then you've got a cold biome. So kind of the three main ones to consider. Also, as we're looking at the map, the red dot is us. The yellow lines are main roads. The white lines are dirt roads. And then buildings or built up areas are orange. So we can see anything that's kind of got built up at the moment. We've also got these 4 green circles, and these are traders or safe points that we can go and work out. And we do need to go to the traders. So having one nearby will help us. So depending on where you live, where you land, you're either going to start cold, you're going to start with an abundance of food, but possibly some predator animals, or you're going to start struggling for resources. So it's going to vary depending on where you go. But we're here at the bottom, so this is absolutely fine. We can see we've got this coastal town, or this, all these buildings along the edge here. We've got these roads. So we kind of know where we're going at the moment. We're on this main road here. So coming out of that, let's have a quick look at our main UI, just to get orientated. So bottom left, we can see an audio and a visual marker. That is for how much noise you're making. If we jump, we make a bit of noise. If you fire a gun, for example, you'll let off a lot of noise. You need to bear that in mind. So at the moment, not too much noise, so we're okay. Visual, yes, we're giving off a lot of visual because we're wearing a bright orange jumpsuit. Doesn't really help standing in the middle of nowhere. So visually, we're giving off a lot of clues as well. Underneath that, we've got our health, our stamina, our nutrition, and our hydration. And this game is complex. We're going to go through all of that now as we start off with the tutorial. So the introduction wants us to move around using W8, S, and D. We can use the middle mouse wheel up and down, and we can go from a walk to a jog to a run. Now, it doesn't matter with the middle mouse wheel, even though you can scroll it, it's not absolute, which means that you've just got 3 settings. You're either going to be walking, you're going to be jogging, or you're going to be running. And it's just one simple click up on the mouse wheel just to be able to switch between them. Now, as you run, you'll use more stamina, so you just need to bear that in mind. All right, so that's the kind of main overview. Take a little moment to enjoy the world as you land on it. It's a pretty incredible map. Game's been built very well in Unreal Engine 4, I believe. All right, now we're going to go ahead and press Tab. That is going to open up our menu system. Now, at the very top, you can see there are 6 hotkeys, and that is between inventory, crafting, health. You've got metabolism, manual, and journal. So those are your 6 tabs. We're going to start on inventory, and we're going to have a quick look at this UI. So on the left side, you've got the shirt and pants that we're currently wearing, and they are here and shown because they have inventory space. And you can see we've actually got a starter bank card here. Tells you how much it weighs and the condition of it, what it is, the temperature, how wet it is, and the weight of how wet it is, how much weight it can carry in total, and how much weight it currently carries. Now, you can equip any item to your person using this strip. So you can see right now we've got trainers, socks, boxers, undershirt, pants, and a shirt. And the reason that only pants and shirts show here is because these are the two that have inventory slots. You can craft clothing, you can find clothing. This is very much a crafting and a looting game, as much as it is about survival. And so going to bear that in mind as we crack on. Now, looking at the top, we can see vicinity, and this is everything in our area. Now, there's nothing to interact with at the moment, but if there was anything to interact with, it would show up here. So we want to keep that in mind as we're running around looking for things. If you can't see it on the floor, in a very, very close proximity to your player, you can see things and you can use them as well. So you can interact with things that are on your person and also things that are in your vicinity. On the right-hand side, we've got holsters. So this is your left shoulder and your right shoulder. And then we have what is in our hands. And we can assign things to the quick access, which is the hotbar that shows at the bottom of the screen here. All right, so that is inventory. At the moment, what it's telling us to do, though, is skip crafting, health, and metabolism and go across to the manual. So we're going to press 5. And this is going to show you the codex. So you can click on Welcome to the Island. You can click on Introduction and go through some absolute basics. It will tell you what you need to do. But you can also learn about all of the other things that are in the game. And there's quite a lot here. So this is a very detailed onboarding that you can go through to learn about all of the things that are important to you. And what we're going to hopefully aim to get to today by the end of this video is towards quests. So quests teach you about how you can go to notice boards, how you can go to, they're pretty much in every town, or by going to the quest book, which is what we're going to do at the trader shop. And also if you have a mobile phone with a working battery. So there's 3 ways that quests can be accepted, and they do work on a tier system. So tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. You'll start off with the general goods, then the armorer, mechanic, and doctor. So there are certain things you're going to have to do, and they are refreshed, but these are going to be different things. They're either going to be fetch quests, we have to go and get an item and bring it back, either a kill quest, we have to go and kill someone, or an interact quest, we have to go and find objects around the island. So different things that you have to do, and you'll be rewarded with money, fame points, and discounts on some items. So fame points, if we go back to our inventory, is at the top right-hand corner here, this star. So remember at the start of the video, you are on a TV show, so you have to be able to acquire fame points to get bargains and discounts and unlock certain things. So you're going to want to be able to level this up. We've also got gold bars. This is predominantly used for your respawn, not at the start of the game, but when you've got a base and you want to respawn at your base if you die, then you can use that to do so. And you've got a bank card with money that you can put in the bank. But we're not there yet. That's something we have to work towards and level up to get to. So right now we're going to go back to manual and we're going to click on tasks. And it's going to give us our first task that we need to do. Now, this is technically our second task because we've just done the introduction. And that means we've got 2 fame points as a result of that. So we're going to go here and we're going to do our next task. And it's going to tell us to create a stone knife. And that's going to give us 2 fame points. Now, Dina is the AI that if you're playing the game for the first time will walk you through this process. I've disabled Dina in the options because I'm going to walk you through this. And we're going to follow this, but I'm going to tell you some additional things to consider just to give you a bit of a better onboarding experience. All right, so we're going to click Start Task. And now on the left, it tells us we need to search the ground and we're looking for 2 stones. So the way that we find stones, this is the first thing you will always have to do, is you're going to look for rocks. So you're looking for this kind of white patch on the floor. And then within the white patch, there's going to be a little raised area here where we can search for rocks. We can interact with these by pressing F. And now we've done that, if we press Tab, we can now go back to our inventory. And in the vicinity, we now have uncovered 2 small stones. So now we're going to go to the crafting menu. And what this is going to do is it's going to take the right side, which is the holsters, and it's going to move it across to the left side, and it's going to give us a new menu. So now holsters is on the left, and we can switch between inventory and holsters if we need to. And on the right, we have crafting. Now, this can look a little bit overwhelming. Don't worry, it's very straightforward. So if we just go ahead and minimize everything here, these are categories. So we start off with ammunition, which if we look on the left-hand side, these are all of the same categories. It starts here with ammunition because above that, we've got what is currently craftable and what we have favorited or we've starred. And so this is all categories. So with all categories, you can search for an item. So if we typed in knife or started to type that, we can see the different knives we can make. If I delete that search item and I can look, I can see all of the different things here. If I search on melee weapons, I can see knives and all the other stuff I can make. Now, it's going to be red unless I've got the ingredients to craft it. So I can click on this, and then I can click on the details panel. So at the bottom of the crafting screen, there are 3 buttons. There is details, there is auto craft, which will craft as many as possible until you run out of material, or there's just single craft. So if we click on the details panel, it tells us we're going to craft 1 item. We can also craft more if we want to. Left click to craft more, right click to craft less, and it will start to craft them. So this is how many are going to be crafted. It also tells us underneath the item what components are required to make it. So in this instance, the components required are stones, but we can use different possible components. So we could use stones or small stones. We've got small stones and 2 of them. And you can tell that because they're highlighted with a red box. If we take off the red box, it says 0 of 2. So we have to highlight them both to be able to click on craft. We can also right click with the right amount of ingredients selected. And if we right click with all of the ingredients and we can craft something, it will show up on the right click menu as a bit of a shortcut. So we don't have to click on that crafting. But because the tutorial is very specific, we have to follow it in a certain way, we are going to click on a button in the bottom right because that is what it's telling us to do. It is then going to craft for us. We can cancel that craft at any time just by simply clicking on it. We can also press tab to come out of the menu and look around for any threats or enemies as we're crafting. So just bear that in mind. Right, now within our vicinity, we have a stone knife. If I move too far, that will disappear. So I need to make sure I stay within the vicinity of the stone knife. I can now drag this across into my pants, or I can double click it, or I can right click and I can pick it up. I'm just going to double click it and it's going to put it in the first available inventory slot, which in this case is my pants. I'm going to come across to my inventory tab and I'm now going to drag this into my hands, or I can right click and take in hands. And this is now in my hand. So I've got a stone knife in my hand. That task is now complete and we've got an additional 2 fame points. So far, so good. Crafting, very simple. So learning the basics. So now it's going to tell us it wants us to go and cut down a bush. So we're going to walk over here. Any bush that we can interact with will have the F cut icon. If we don't have anything to cut with, it will just simply have a hand icon on it. So the fact that it says cut means we've got a knife. We can use that. By using it, we are going to affect the durability of the item once the action is completed. So this is at 100%. It's now at 92. But on the floor in the vicinity, we've got 2 small logs. We've got some wooden sticks. We've got 3 small wooden sticks and 2 large. So now we're going to go over to the crafting tab. And we're going to craft something else now. So we're going to search for a spear. That's what it's telling us to do. We're going to craft an improvised wooden spear, which is going to require 1 long stick and our cutting tool. So we'll go ahead and we'll craft that. And that's going to give us our first weapon to defend ourselves. Now, a wooden spear, I typically wouldn't make this personally myself, but it's okay if you want to. I would go straight to a improvised stone spear, but we'll do that in a moment. To get started, though, with the very basics, we are going to do exactly what it's telling us to do. So we're going to go to inventory. We're going to pick it up off the ground, because when you craft it, it drops it on the ground. We're going to put it on our back. And again, left shoulder or right shoulder, we can choose between us. All right, so the task is completed. We've now got an improvised wooden spear. All right, the next thing that we're going to want to do is to create some branch rope. So to do that, we're going to need some more small wooden sticks. We've got 3 of them, but we need 4. So we're going to right click on the long wooden stick and we're going to cut it into small sticks. So we can go ahead and take a long stick and craft it into 2 small sticks. This should give us 5 in total now. Perfect. So we go to our crafting menu, and this time we're going to look for rope, which is in tools and miscellaneous. Branch rope, which requires 4 sticks and a crafting tool. So we're going to go ahead and craft that. All right, now this is going to give us the ability to start making some more advanced items. So in our inventory, we're going to need to first get some rags. So what we're making at the moment is an improvised courier backpack. And if we go to crafting and we go to clothing and we look here at improvised courier backpack, it needs 3 rags, it needs 6 rope, and it needs a cutting tool. We've got our cutting tool. We've got 10 out of 10 rope now. We're going to use 6 of them, but we need 3 rags. So the quickest and easiest way to do this is to start cutting up clothing. We're going to cut up our undershirt. Now, if we're in a cold biome or a cold climate, this is going to affect our well-being. We're going to get colder. So we've now got 2 rags. It's not quite enough. So we're going to have to cut up our boxer shorts as well. Thankfully, they're clean. So we're going to get some more rags from these. And this will give us what we need to make a backpack. Because at the start of the game, the very basic thing that we're going to need is more inventory space. We cannot carry things if we don't have space to carry them. Now, you can get cars, you can get wheelbarrows, you can do lots of different things later on. But to start with at the very beginning, this is going to be your biggest bottleneck. It's going to be making sure that you're fed and that you've got a constant food and water supply. Making sure that you've got armor and weapons to defend yourself. And making sure that you've got inventory space to be able to loot and pick things up. So now that we've got the backpack, we're going to right click and equip. Or we can double click it, and this is now on, as you can see, it's on our person, so we can take it off, or we can just drag it to this middle bar. And now we can see we've got all this additional space, and we can take our branch rope, we can take our rag strip, our rags, and we can even pick up, if we wanted to, our small wooden stick. Now we'll put that in our holster for now, but we could also, if we wanted to, we could put that into our backpack like so. All right, so far so good. Now we need to craft some wooden arrows. So it's telling us to make a bow and arrow at the moment, which is what we're going to do. In order to do that, very simple, we need a small stick, which we've got. So we'll come to ammunition, wooden arrow, and we're going to craft it. We'll use our tool, which is, by the way, almost done now. This tool is at 20%. But we can now make a wooden arrow, and we can place that in our backpack instead of the stick. And now we need to make ourselves a bow. So making a ranged weapon to make a bow, we're going to need some rope. All right, we do not have enough rope, so we're going to have to make some more rope. We're also going to make a long wooden stick, and we need to make another cutting tool because this doesn't have enough durability. So we're going to look for some more stones to start with. Then we're going to click on both of these stones. So again, if I click on both of these and right click, I can craft a stone knife. So I can go ahead and do that. Now, I'm not actually going to make a stone knife. What I'm going to do is craft myself... Well, actually, no, I will to start with. I will make a stone knife to start with. But we're going to replace this with a better weapon or a better item. We're going to make ourselves an axe. Because with an axe, we can chop down trees. And that's not part of the tutorial. But it is what we're going to do. So now that we've got this new weapon, we can pick it up, put it in our backpack. We've got that. We're going to come over here and we're going to cut another branch down. This is going to give us some more wood that we're going to need. All right, so having a look here, we can see we've got 2 small sticks and a long stick. All right, so we haven't really got much here at the moment. So we're going to have to cut down these small sticks, which should give us 4 small sticks. And we know we can use that to make some rope. Now, because we're going to be using rope a lot, what we're going to do is select it, right-click on it, and add it to favorites. And now it's always going to be here if we need to click on it. So just easy to access now. So we'll take 4 small sticks, and we'll make some rope. So we've got some extra rope. We'll then pick that up and put it in our backpack. All right, and now obviously we want to go and get some more sticks, but we don't just want to keep chopping down these branches because it's a bit of a nightmare and it takes quite a while to do this. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to craft, as well as the bow, we're also going to craft ourselves an axe. So we'll go ahead and make the bow because it's telling us to do that. So we'll make a simple bow, we'll craft it. And then we can put that in our back, so on our second slot. So we'll go and drag that across. And now we've done that, crafting bow and arrows. So that's now complete. So that was going to be the way of defending ourselves with both melee and ranged. And depending on what you want to do, either melee or ranged, those are options. And you've got them there. So in order to use your bow, you just select it, hold down the right mouse button, and then you can draw back the bow. And you can fire it. You can come pick up your arrow if you throw it on the floor. It will have durability. We don't want to search the rocks. We actually just want to pick up our arrow. And you can see we've got 1 of 12 arrows. So bearing that in mind and understanding that we're now loaded up and ready to go, we can carry on our journey. Now I'm actually going to pick up these 2 small stones at this point. And the reason I'm going to do this is because if I select both of these small stones, I can craft myself a small stone axe head. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a small stone axe head. I'll put my stone knife back in my pants. And everything else I've got on me we can deal with in a minute. But this I can put into my inventory for now. So I've got a small stone axe head. And I now want to come across and look at another branch here. I'm going to cut this down. Now you can see we're bleeding. This is the next part of the tutorial. It's teaching us how to deal with injuries. But we'll deal with that in a second. For now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my crafting. I'm going to go to melee weapons. And I'm going to make a stone axe. And this requires a small stone axe head. We know how to make that. Any stick. And 6 out of 6 rope. So we're going to go ahead and craft this. So it's going to give us a better item to be able to use. And that at the start here is really, really important for us to have. Now the problem with this is it's a large item. And so as a result, it's not going to fit in our backpack. We're going to have to holster it. But we've got the bow. We've got the spear, so we can put it in our hands. But now the problem is because we've got 3 items, if I do something with my hands, I will drop one of these items. So you always want to make sure you've got enough backpack space to be able to carry on. So what we're actually going to do now, before we go away and carry on with the process, which is obviously something we can do just to run through the tutorial. But instead of doing that, what we're going to do is click on clothing, and we're going to look at an improvised quiver. Okay, so we've already made the courier backpack. We're now going to make an improvised quiver. So click on details and we need some rags. Now, starting rags, we can actually take a shirt if we want to. We will lose 1 inventory space for this, but we get 1 rag. We can also take our socks if we need to as well. So we can cut our socks up into rags as well. We're going to have to do this anyway. And we can take all of our clothes. We can even take our shirt off. We will get a little bit cold and we will lose this this space. And we do have a bank card on us. So we'd have to move that bank card. We can now cut up our shirt into some more rags. Now, we don't really want that shirt anyway. It does have inventory, which is important to us. But we've now got 4 rags. Now, the reason we need these rags, very tempting for us right now, with the 1 in our inventory and a 5 on the floor, very, very tempting to go ahead and craft this improvised quiver. Because that's all we need to do, right? Get some rope and we can make this. But if we do that, we're not going to be able to go through this next process, which is telling us we need to open up the tab. And before we open up this tab, I'm first going to come back to health. Because I want to just look at health for a moment. Now, health tells us on the right-hand side all of the information that we need to know about our character. So we've got our heartbeat, we've got our our respiratory rate, we've got our temperature, our O2, and we can see any symptoms that we've got here. So this tells us our health is at 100% and our blood loss, we've got no blood loss, our blood is at 100%. But we are bleeding with a small cut. Now, it's because it's a tutorial, we're not actually dying because of this, it's just an example. But we can see on our left arm here, we have a cut, and it is a C2. If it is a C1, it will heal itself. If it is a C2, 3, or 4, progressively getting worse, C4 being your near death, they all need treatment. So in order to learn about treatments and what we need to do, we're first going to click on the metabolism. When I do this, don't freak out. This is going to be a lot when I click on this. Don't worry. All you need to know about the health tab, though, is you've got untreated, and then it goes into stabilization, and then it goes into recovery. So we're going to click on metabolism. There's a lot. Don't get overwhelmed. Ignore everything you see on the right side. Just ignore it. Ignore nutrition for now. We're not touching that. Look on the left side, and let's break this down. It's really simple. At the top, we've got statistics. Base strength, base constitution, our base dexterity, and our base intelligence, which we left at 3 across the board. Now, these are either going to be red, blue, or green. Green means that you are gaining Red means you are losing. And so if we're not moving, we're losing endurance. So we need to move around. And as we're moving around, it is now going to be stabilized. And if we start running around and moving even quicker, we'll actually start gaining as a result. So we'll start gaining endurance. So all of these different attributes, strength, remember we selected what we wanted at the start. We chose weapons and archery. Constitution, running and endurance. You can see there the experience. So as we move around, that experience, which is on 9 XP, will start to go up. It's now on 10 XP. So just by moving, we're going to gain experience. Dexterity and intelligence. Now what we're dealing with at the moment is intelligence, and we want to look at medical. If we hold down left control on anything, it will give us more information. So if I hover over medical, hold down left control, it tells me that medical skill indicates how proficient you are at treating injuries. It also tells you how to raise it by treating conditions and injuries. And it influences stabilization time, number of required items for successful treatment, and the chance of a successful upgrade chip. All right, stuff we'll deal with later. Let's go back to our health tab. Before we do this, before we head back to the health tab, just look at the basic info. Okay, we're 20 years old, we've been alive for a little bit of time. We can see our weight, our health. We can see how many teeth we have. Why is this important? Because if you take blunt force trauma to the face, you'll lose your teeth. If you have no teeth, you can't chew your food. So you have to figure a way of liquidating your food if you get smashed in the head. That's how deep this survival game goes. They consider things like teeth in this game. All right, so blood type, blood volume, temperature, performance data, so what affects your stamina, things like resting, things that you're doing, etc., etc. You can see the negative effects, so we're quite exhausted at the moment. This is having a negative effect on us. So we need to make sure we're constantly regenerating our stamina. We need to keep an eye on our weight so we're not encumbered. And we can see our jog, walk, and run speed as a result. And if we're overloaded, any penalties on our energy and our water. Performance indicators and what's affected, as well as body stats and our body mass distribution. So far, so good. So this is all stuff we need to consider. This is our growth of our character. And the more you play, the more your character will grow. And you really want to start leveling this up and getting stronger so you can do bigger and better things. All right, we're going to ignore nutrition. We'll come back to that later. Let's go to our health tab. And we're going to look at this, this cut that we have. So we can click on this and we can hold down left control. And if we hold left control, it will tell us exactly what we need to do to heal it. So in order to do this, what we need to find is 2 rags, it's telling us. Now look, we can see that they're not all in proximity. So we have to make sure they're all in proximity. We can select 2 rags. Now, as we select a rag, you'll see a flashing border around the thing that you selected. Now, once it's completed and you click treat, it will heal that condition. Now, that condition will go into, it will be stabilized and it will go into recovery. So at the moment, it's okay. It's just going to disappear once we've treated it. And all good. So we've now dealt with patching up wounds and we know how to do that. We'll take these rags. Now, we drop the stone axe on the floor because remember, we have our inventory spot, but we dropped this because we were patching up instead. Now, I don't actually like using the bow and arrow at the start. I like using the wooden spear. So I'm actually going to drop the bow and arrow on the floor. And you might think that's a bit crazy, but I'm not going to use it. Instead, I'm going to put the stone axe in my backpack or on my back of my shoulder, and I've got my hands free. I always like to keep my hands free. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to put the wooden spear. It's already in a slot, but I can put the axe in a slot as well. It's already there, so there's nothing I can do because it's in 1 and 2. But if it was somewhere else, I could then select it and put it into a quick access slot. So this is 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. All right, so all good so far. Now that we've got everything that we need, we don't really need to worry about taking anything else with us, but we do need to start searching for food and water. So we can run around and we can look for anything that can be interacted with. If it says search, we can search it. A world container is anything that we can interact with. So the stones on the floor was a world container. A world container can be anything from a locker, a bed, a chest, a bush, anything where there is potential going to be inventory that you can interact with. Now, in this case, in this bush, there happens to be some olives, which is great because I need to collect these. So I'm going to pick them up and I can now eat them by right-clicking and clicking eat. And now if we come back to our metabolism and look on the right-hand side, we can now see and understand how nutrition works. So we've eaten olives and they're in our stomach. Anything that is in our stomach will show up here at the very bottom. So this is showing that there are currently olives in our stomach. And if we hold down left control, we get energy, protein, carbs, fats. It tells us everything that we get from it. And also we're getting a recovery bonus for our exhaustion. So we're currently slightly exhausted, but that's going to help with that and make it a bit better for us. So that's good. Our stomach will then process food into our intestines, and the intestines will process food into macro and micronutrients. So our macronutrients is proteins, carbs, fats, fiber, sugar, saturated fat, and alcohol, of which if you hold down control on any of these, it will tell you the best source. So if this is going to be from sunflower seeds, meat, fish, cheese, things like that. Carbs are going to be from things like cereals, flour, rice, things like that. Fiber is going to come from things like coconuts, oatmeal, almonds, things like that. Seeds as well. So you need a balanced diet. It's pretty much like real life, right? You've got to look after your body. So once it goes from the intestine to the macro and the vitamins and minerals, and again, you don't need to worry about these. Just keep an eye. If anything gets low, replenish it. But these are pretty good. They're pretty stable. Then it will decide what is the waste product. Is it going in the colon or is it going in the bladder? So there are three things. There's the stomach, the colon, and the bladder. If any of these get over 50%, you can empty them. The way that you do that is you hold down tab, you click on toilet, and you can pee, poo, or vomit, depending on what you're trying to do. So we now know to eat. Once we've got stuff in our stomach, we need to make sure as well that our stomach doesn't get too full, because if it reaches 100%, it can rupture and you can die. There's so many different ways you can die in this game. You can eat poison. There's lots of different things that can happen to you. So we need to make sure we've always got food in our stomach. It won't process instantly. It will take time. So if we go back here and we eat the second olive, we're going to have to wait for this to work its way through our system. So we've got our stomach. We're now processing over time. And this is going to result in both energy and water. These are the two key things, because energy is stamina and it allows us to fight. And water obviously keeps us alive. So this is our energy and our water. And we can see from our body reserves how much fat we've got on our body and how much muscle we've got on our body. So again, keeping an eye on our body is part of survival. This is why it's such a hyper-realistic survival game, because you have to go and pee and poo. All right, with that being said, we've done most of the basics, but foraging is really not the best way to get food. It is a way to survive if you absolutely must. And again, most of these things that we're going to search for, because we're kind of in this, not the desert biome, but we're kind of in the wilderness at the moment. And as you can see, it's a little bit barren, not a lot growing over here. And as a result, we're not really getting much out of this. And so not a lot of farming or anything is going to go on around here. So we're going to have to worry about foraging to get started. There's also not that many animals around here. So not that much in the way of food. We'll see if we can find some and we'll take it with us. But what we really want to do is we want to start crafting ourselves a fire pit so that we can start cooking food. And that's what we're going to learn right now. So we're going to learn how to make a fire. So the first thing we're going to do before we make a fire is I'm actually going to go ahead and cut down this tree because I've got a stone axe. That is why we made it. By cutting down this tree, we're going to have an abundance of sticks that we're going to need. And I'm also, at this point, before we do the fire, going to get 2 more stones. So the reason I'm going to get these rocks that I've got here is I'm going to take these rocks, I'm going to take this tree branch and I'm going to chop it up because the tree branch is going to give me sticks. And then once I've got sticks, I've got rope, which I'll have to make some more of, and I've got stones. I can go back to crafting. And whilst it's telling me to make a fire before I do that, I'm actually going to make myself a better melee weapon. So I want to make an improvised stone spear. And in order to do that, I need stone, long stick, and some rope. If I go to favorites, rope, I can craft some more. So I've got the sticks to do that because I've cut down a tree. So much better now cutting down trees than worrying about bushes. Oh, I can actually hear a chicken. Would be ideal to find it. We would have to creep up to it and try and kill it. Don't actually know where it is. Chances are you won't find one in your playthrough though, so I'm going to ignore it for now. But I did hear it. Audio cues in this game are massive. All right, so now we're going to go to melee weapons. We're going to make a improvised stone spear. We could make a metal spear in a moment if we wanted to instead and go straight for metal. We just need everything else and metal scrap, which is very, very easy to find. But we're going to go and drop the wooden spear on the floor and we're going to pick up the improvised one instead. Go back to our inventory. We're going to pick up the extra rope that we've got. All right, so we're in a good place right now. We're also just going to eat some food. We'll eat some olives. And okay, we're good. Now what we're going to do is go back to crafting. So we've done inventory, we've done crafting, we've done health, and we've now done metabolism. We've covered all of the basics and we understand, even though this is overwhelming, we understand the basics. We understand the manual with the tasks that we're working through and the codex. If we need any help at all, everything is here to help us. And then the journal is just basically everything that we're going through and what we're doing, including outposts, which we'll talk about these in a moment. But again, this is where you'll find your quests and quests that you can do. So there are some quests. You have to go there to the trader to be able to do them. And so we're going to ignore that for now. We're going to come back to crafting. And the last thing that we need to look at for the menu, we're almost done. The last thing we need to look at is whilst we're in the crafting menu, we've been looking at items. We can now click across to base building and it's exactly the same. We've got all of our categories here. We can minimize this if it's overwhelming. We can look for all the different things. But for now, we want a fire, which is in utilities, improvised fireplace. So we're going to find that and we're going to click on the details tab. Now this is going to tell us what we need to make an improvised fireplace. We need components, sticks. It says long wooden stick, but it can actually be a long stick or a short stick. It doesn't matter. It also says brake oil. We don't need brake oil. We just need any of these components. So brake oil, gunpowder, paper, rags, rag strips, or tinder. Well, it's telling us to make tinder as part of the tutorial. So we're going to go back to items. We're going to go to tools. We're going to make some tinder. And it just so happens we've got enough sticks. So we're going to craft some tinder. Once we've done that, and again, we can press tab to come out and look around. Just make sure there's no threats. There's no enemy. If you're on a PvP server, this is when you are the absolute most vulnerable to getting killed. So we're just going to look around. We can also have a look on the map if we want to. Just take some time while we're crafting. So we're going to head down here. We can see the water on our left, which is here. So we head this way. We can see there's a lot of a town to go through. Towns probably have an NPC, so we maybe don't want to go down there just yet. Instead, maybe we go over this way. There's a little building over here. There's some buildings behind us, so maybe we go back down the path behind us. Lots of things to consider. For now, however, we need to gather 5 small wooden sticks. Well, because we chopped down a tree, we have loads of these. So a lot of them are long sticks. We're going to have to cut them into smaller sticks. We're looking for these small wooden sticks. So we've got 1. This is now going to be 2. We've got 3, 4, and that's going to be 5. Now, it doesn't recognize that we've got them. So we have to right click and we have to craft them into a stick bundle. The second we do that, it will mark this as complete. Now we can go ahead and cancel this by clicking on it and we won't do it. If it completes, it's okay. You just click on the stick bundle and then you uncraft it. So it's okay. And now we need to go back to the base building, to the improvised fireplace, and we need to place it down on the ground. So we're going to place it down just here. Press F. And now we need to load it up with everything. So we're going to fill with what we've got. So we can choose what items are going to go in there. Now I don't actually want to put the rags in. So, for example, maybe instead I want to put in the tinder instead of sticks. So I can choose the sticks. I can choose the items I want, and I can fill this up, and it's going to put in the items. Now, I don't want to use the rags, even though it's saying, do I want to fill with rags? Do I want to fill with this? So I can choose. I can swap around. And you can see what it's going to fill up with. So anyway, we're going to fill this up by pressing the button here. If we hold down left shift and press F, we can put everything in at once. So I didn't put our tinder in. Instead, it used one of our rags, but yeah, it just takes an item, so it is what it is. We could have dropped the rags, moved them around. Yeah, just is what it is. Now we need to craft the fire drill. So going back to items, I'm going to miscellaneous, and now we can make an item called a fire drill, which requires any stick, And because we've got our tinder, which we used a rag, because we've got our sticks, because everything's made, we can now come out of this, hold down F, and we can light the fire. This is 1, going to keep us warm, and 2, if we press F on it, we can now cook. So now we can go into the 3rd tab from items, base building, and cooking. In the cooking tab now, we can cook. So as long as we're near something we can interact with, in this case, if we move back, we can't cook anymore. We have to move close enough, and if we do that, it's going to allow us to cook. So now we can click on vegetable skewer. What does it require? Well, it needs main ingredients. So we need vegetables and mushrooms. All right, so knowing that we need vegetables and mushrooms, which are the main ingredients, we have to go out and find some of these to be able to make them. So different possible ingredients: potatoes, corn, zucchini, tomato, onion, carrots, and bell pepper. Any of those. And mushrooms, there's loads of mushrooms. You find them in the forest floor. All right, what we need to do now is gather 2 more short sticks. So we'll grab those. Again, we're going to bundle them because that allows it to be part of what we need. So now that the tutorials recognize that, we can come out of this, hold down F, and we can fuel the fire with small wooden sticks. So we're going to do what it's told us to do, exactly what it's told us to do, and that has completed the task, light a fire. So now we know how to cook better food. Right, we're going to leave everything else here. We don't really have the inventory space for it at the moment. So we're just going to eat our olives. We're going to eat our aloe vera leaf at the moment. And then we're going to head off. All right, the last thing in the tutorial, the last thing to do is fame and money. So if we click on inventory, it's going to tell us to left click or hold down left control on our bank card. This is a starter bank card. In the world, there are banks and ATMs. We can use that to deposit money. If we die with money on us, we lose that money. It's on our body. If you're in a PvP server, you'll get looted. Your body can despawn. You can go back to it. Chances are, though, you'll lose everything you've got on you. So we put money in the bank to keep it safe. The problem is if someone gets our starter bank card, there's no protection. That means they can withdraw $500 every day. Now, the best thing I recommend doing at this stage is to right-click on this and destroy it. It makes additional space, and we don't need it right now. But what we do need to do is we need to open up the map and look at these 4 green circles, and it's telling us to travel to one. So we're going to head to that trader outpost. Now, in order to do that, we need to have at least 15 fame. We've got 18 fame at the moment, so that's all good. But what we need is to have enough stuff with us as we're traveling to ensure that when we do get there, we can buy the things that we need to buy. So what we're going to do is we're going to head just down to the left. Now we're going to make sure, and this is really important, that we don't get into contact with a puppet. A puppet isn't too bad, but an NPC will probably have a gun. And at this state, we don't even have any armor. We'll probably die. Also, it's okay that we're in a hot climate at the moment, so we can keep searching for food, see if we find anything. There is an abundance of food in this game. It's just we don't actually have access to a lot of it. So we're going to look around. We're going to come down here, see what we can see what we can find. All right, so there's some tires here. Not much to do around here. Okay, so kind of like the beach area. All right, we're going to look around. All right, nice and easy so far. We're going to come over here. Some tarpaulin, nothing we can interact with. Okay, that's fine. We'll come down here. Not really much we can interact with at this stage. That's okay. We're just looking. This is all decoration. We're just going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep heading, as you can see, towards the town here. So this kind of beach area at the moment, kind of out the way. And these out the way areas, these are the perfect places to loot when we first start. All right, so we found ourselves a fish hook pack and a long paddle. We don't really have much use for those at the moment. We're going to search the rubbish. All right, we're going to find an egg in the rubbish. Now, we're going to eat that. We're going to eat it. It tastes funny. If we look at our health now, we've got food repulsion. Now, we're recovering from it. It's okay, but we didn't enjoy that. We've got a bit of nausea as a result. So, yeah, just keep an eye. We had a raw egg, but it wasn't that fresh. Probably because we found it in the rubbish. All right, we're going to keep searching these containers. See if we find anything else. There's nothing else up here, so we're going to head off. There's a little bit more rubbish around the back here. All right, this one's got a rubber band. Not really worth anything for us, so we'll leave it there at the moment. We're going to be careful with what loot we acquire because we don't really have much space. And we're going to start heading up into the town, but very carefully, because we don't want to spook any NPCs. And we absolutely, there's a puppet. So there's our first puppet. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and aggro him by getting as close as we can. There we go. And now he's going to start running towards us. So when he runs towards us, we can interact with him by hitting him. But we've got an animation, and our animation is slow, and he moves quicker than us. So we're going to keep moving backwards, and we're going to queue up our animation so that we hit him. And we're going to do this so that we hit him before he gets to us, so he can't attack us. Because every time we hit him, he takes a second. And if we do this correctly, we can actually kill him quite easily. So we've lured him away. We can now search his body. Looking around, making sure nothing else is coming to attack us. All right, so as a result of that, we've got a jacket. We can put this jacket on if we want. Now, this is a jock jacket, which has got loads of inventory space, which is really helpful for us. But it's all red because at the moment, this jacket's got 5%, which means the problem with this at the moment is even though we can use it, we can't actually store anything within it. So we can put it on just by dragging it across or equipping. So we'll wear our jacket, keep us dry or keep us warm, but we can't actually store anything in it unless we repair it, and we can't repair it unless we get a sewing kit. And for that, we need a needle, which we ironically have just found. Some construction boots, again, not in the best condition, but we've got trainers at the moment. If we wanted to, we could put construction boots on instead and get rid of our trainers. So, yeah, you'll find different types of boots and things like that that you can wear and that you can use. But what we really want at the moment is we want rags. Because if we go back to crafting and we look at our crafting items that we were looking at and we go to clothing, we mentioned that we want to make an improvised quiver. And that requires rope, a stick, and some rags. So we're not going to cut this body up right now. And if we don't cut this body up, this body's actually going to disappear. But that's okay. We don't mind this body disappearing at the moment. We don't need anything else with it. All we want is a stick. All right, best place for us to get sticks is going to be to chop down a tree. We can go ahead and just chop this tree down. And this is going to give us some more sticks. So just looking around at the moment. Again, just being very, very careful not to find an NPC, which is like a player, if we find them. We'll chop up the tree branch. This is going to give us the sticks that we need. And we're also going to break up the jock jacket as well. So we'll right click on that and we'll cut it into rags. Now these are going to be dirty rags because this is dirty. Now we could, if we wanted to, before we do anything else, run over to the water. We can go into the water. We're going to get wet as a result of this. Now because this is salt water, this is part of the main body of water. If we go to a lake, it'll be fresh water. This is salt water, which if we drink it, it's not going to be good for us. Also now, our feet are wet. So as a result of our feet being wet, you can see there's weight added to the boots. But what we want to do, and the most important thing, in fact, we didn't actually pick that jock jacket up. We left it. So we're going to come back to where we was. There we go. We'll put this on. So we'll just equip it. We'll come over to the water. Now what we can do, we can't wash it at the moment. We don't have the ability to do that. If we put it on the floor, it's actually getting wet as a result. It is losing a little bit of its dirtiness, but it is 93% dirty at the moment. So, yeah, not really much we can do about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into rags. So even though it's wet, the weight of it's quite heavy. You do need to wash it. We can't just wash it in salt water. We need soap and stuff like that. But look, we can see we've got all of these. So we can treat these if we've got stuff to treat it with. We can also craft into lots of different items. What we're going to do, however, is we're going to pick these up. So all of the rags, we're going to pick these up and take them with us. All right, we don't need the rag strip. We can leave those. So we'll leave all the rag strips behind. We're going to pick up all the rags. Come back to where our sticks were. And now with our sticks and our rags, now we're going to select the dirty rags, because that's what we're going to use, and the rope, and the small wooden stick. We can now craft ourselves an improvised quiver. Now, because we're using poor quality rags, we're probably going to get a poor quality quiver as a result. So we'll craft it, and we'll have a look and see the condition of it once it's made. It's at 60%, so not the best. which means it's got a little slot there that we would have to repair. If we used good quality materials, we'd be at 100%. But this does give us some additional space, which is nice because we can use this, right? Even though it's full right now, we've got our backpack. All right, so that's given us a little bit more space. So now we need to find just a few more bits of clothing and things. And to do that, there's some more rubbish here we can search. Bolts, we can take bolts with us. So what we're looking for right now is anything that's going to be of value to us as we head towards the trader. So we can go into a room or a building if we want to, and we can start searching these buildings. And all different buildings, this one's got a mattress. There's some rubbish here. Different buildings have different loot spawns. This one doesn't really have much at all. There's not really much in there, so we're going to leave that one. We'll go next door. All right, and then we can look upstairs. So nothing down here. We'll go upstairs. There could be puppets, so we do want to be a little bit careful. There could be NPCs as well, so we have to be really careful. We're okay. We're going to just search, and this is our looting that we're going to be doing. So kitchen is more likely to give us food or kitchen items. If you go to a workshop, it's more likely to give you workshop items. Here we got some sexy denim shorts, so we can wear them, give us a little bit more. It's also, for later on, this will be a quest item, but you won't know that to start with. So if you find them, keep them, but otherwise you wouldn't know that anyway. We're going to wear them, some sexy denim shorts on, and that means that we're going to have a couple of extra inventory spaces. And inventory, as I mentioned at the start, really is the biggest bottleneck. So we're just going to keep searching everything. Nothing else here. So we can head back out. Going to keep that spear open. Just gently walking around and being very careful because, again, the NPCs, when they spawn, they can cause a real problem for us. So we can come into here. Have a little look around this diner. Search, see if there's anything for us. Look, so here we've got some garlic and the water bottle. Water bottle's fantastic. We really do want to keep that. It's really important for us. So we can keep searching, see if there's anything else. All right, so we picked up some beer. Nice. Picked up some more beer. All right, and we'll search all of these, make sure there's nothing in any of them. Okay, all been searched, all good. We'll search the cash register, there's nothing in there. We'll check under the stairs. Nothing in there. All right, we can look in the kitchen. Find a lettuce. So now we can go and make some food now. There's a frying pan if we want it. Now you're going to end up maybe in a different location. We've got a bushman, which is nice, so we'll take that. So we've got a decent condition knife now. Now you might not end up in somewhere like this where you can just walk into a kitchen. And if you can't, that's okay. There's another knife here. So now we've got to start considering, well, what do we actually want? We'll take some of the rags, but we're going to get rid of... we don't need the stone knife anymore. That can go. We can use the kitchen knife instead. We've got 2 knives now, which means we could actually keep the rags technically just for now, but that's fine. We're just keeping an eye on stuff, making sure that we've always got some space, and we're keeping the most valuable items. So at the moment, that's a pretty good start. We've got quite a lot of stuff here. There's nothing else in the vicinity, so we're going to head out. Nothing else in the vicinity. We can check inside the toilet. I don't think there's going to be anything in there, though. No, we're good. Oh, that is a medicine cabinet. Always worth checking because you never know if there's something in a medicine cabinet. We can also look upstairs. All right, so good little restaurant. Nothing really here. Check the vicinity. Can't see anything. Over here, check the vicinity. Look, so here we go. We've got some mustard. So we'll take the mustard that we just found, and then we're going to head back downstairs. Right, now we don't want to get too carried away and too greedy here. We're not going to go through all the different buildings. We're going to head over towards the trader, because that's where we really want to be going. All right, so in order to do that, we're going to head over in this general direction. So we're going to follow this back over this way, so away from this town. We'll run. Again, we've got food. We can even go back to that fire that we started. We've got some garlic and stuff that we can cut now. And we're going to head up to this bridge. There's some caravans there. Again, we could, if we wanted to, go and look around the caravans. Chances are there's not going to be too much around here. So, found an empty bag. We're going to search these. Beds normally have money. What we're looking for, though, and what we found, and this is a huge, huge find, is we found some thread. Thread is what we're looking for. Now, I'm going to go ahead and eat this lettuce just to get rid of it, and I'm going to pick up this thread. This is what we want. Now, you may not be lucky enough to find this, and if you're not, it's okay. Because when we get to the trader, we can buy this, and I'm going to show you how you can buy it. This is why we need 15 fame, so we can buy some thread. But if you are blessed and lucky enough to find it just lying around, this is what we need. So thread is what we need. This is what we're looking for. So now that we've got this thread, and we've got our needle, and by the way, if you kill a puppet, you can make a needle from the bones of the puppet. Right, so you've got that ability. Oh, we've got a weapon holster now, so we've got a little bit more space. Again, we're just going to keep searching. Great little places to come and find some basic stuff if we need it. Looking around, there's a bag there, but nothing else. All right. Pretty good in there. We'll come and check out these bins. All right, there's another empty bag. We're not really worried about those at the moment. We'll come and check out this caravan. All right, wow, we just got ourselves a biker jacket. And this is a good condition biker jacket, means that when we put it on, we've got all of this space now. So, yeah, we are doing quite well at the moment. But this is the... I thought I heard something. This is the power of just being able to look around and loot. So we've just found a bedroll. We're going to take a bedroll. But if we do that, the bedroll is important for us because it's good for regeneration and respawning. But we're going to lose the improvised quiver if we put the bedroll on. So we can equip one or the other. But we'll take the bedroll with us for now. We'll take the screwdriver. Huge to have a screwdriver, especially a yellow one. That's a huge find. Overhead compartments. We'll check these. Make sure we search as much as we can. We'll check the bed. Nothing in the bed. We'll check the drawers. All right, nothing in there. We'll check the vicinity. No, nothing else there. Okay, good. So we've got everything that we can currently pick up. But having this jacket is huge because now we've got all this space, right? But the thing that we want is the thread and the needle. Because now if we go to crafting and type in sew, we can make an improvised sewing kit. Now, we need one more piece of thread. We've only got 8. We actually need 9. So we need one more piece of thread. We don't quite have enough. But a really good start. So we're going to head up. So looking at the direction we're going in at the moment, we're going to follow this road up. It kind of bends around to the left, as we can see. So we're going to follow it to the left. And then we can see it will bend up to the right. So we want to kind of head over this direction. We're just going to cut across the cross country. Keeping an eye on our metabolism. Obviously, our lettuce is going through us, but we've got no carbs and no fiber at the moment. So just bear that in mind. We still want to keep an eye out to see if we can find anything to rummage through. We're still going to keep looking for bushes. At the same time, we're just trying to... Oh, actually, I think I might have got disorientated. 1 second. Yep, so I want to be going this way, sorry. You can see on the map, you'll kind of get an idea of what direction you're... If you're running, you'll kind of get an idea of what direction you're running in. So I want to go this way. And there's our little dirt road that we want to follow. So the dirt road is going to be this white road. And this white road is going to lead us up to where we need to go. So we're going to follow that. Chances of us finding anything out here on a sandbox server is pretty low. There will be no players. On a PvP server, you've always got to be worrying about what's going on. So we're going to run up here. There's a little building there. We're going to go and check that out, see what that building is. Otherwise, we're going to just go down to a jog. See if we can just figure out a little bit of art. Now, the problem is, we can go into crafting. We've got garlic, remember? So if we go to cooking, and we look at what's required here, all right, it doesn't say garlic is on the list here. So garlic is not one of the things that we can cook with. It's not on the list. It's nothing we can use. So it's not going to be used for a vegetable skewer. So we can't do anything with that. What we can do instead is we can just eat one raw. Right, so we've eaten our garlic. We can see the garlic is a recovery bonus. So that's going to help us out. Now, cooked food gives us a much better recovery bonus than just eating raw food that we've foraged. And as I said, the food that we foraged doesn't really give us that much sustenance. So it's okay. It doesn't kill us, but it's not gonna help us to thrive. So we're just gonna get to this trader outpost. We're going to run down here. We're in a pretty good situation at the moment. We've managed to acquire some decent items of clothing. We're going to keep an eye on our health. Look at our body temperature, which is 36 degrees. So 37 is what the human likes to be at. 38 and you'll start getting hypothermia. Hypothermia is not just when you get cold. It is also when you get hot as well. So bear that in mind. Looking at the map, and we can see we're just about ready to enter this space. As soon as we do, we'll get an alert pop up that tells us that we've entered this green zone. There is a building up here though. We can always go and check these buildings out and have a look. Depending on what they are. Could be bunkers, because there are bunkers in this game. And they can be fortified. So you do need to be very, very careful when you're looking and going around these kind of buildings. You'll see bunkers. You'll know what they look like as soon as you see them. And there is a zombie here. Now, if there's a zombie around or a puppet, chances are, because there's a puppet, there won't be NPCs. But there is going to be a puppet, and we are going to want to kill this puppet. And this is why we use the stone spear. Still takes a lot of hits. All right, we need to recover our stamina. We're going to search this body. Okay, now what I'm going to show you what we can do now. We just picked up, by the way, a military cap, which we'll put on. Some paper, which we can take with us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chop this body up. Now, if we do not chop the body up, the body will disappear. It will despawn. If we chop it up, it will stay. So now that it's here, you can see we've got all of these parts. So we can right-click on a bone and we can make a bone needle, which I mentioned. There's also guts. There's a head. We can cut out the teeth and the ears and the teeth. Lots of stuff we can do here. But the only thing I'm really interested in is this human skin, which I'm going to take with me. I want the human skin. All right, so I'm going to take that with me. We're going to have a little look around. We're not going to go in too deep. We definitely don't want to be messing about with things like this, but we're going to check out these crates. Now, look, there's some gloves there, so we're going to put the gloves on. We'll check out the bottom crate as well. Now, these green boxes sometimes have some good stuff. Now, again, we're not going to go too deep here. We're just going to look on a surface level. We're just looking at anything in here that's going to be valuable to us. At the moment, it doesn't really look like there's anything valuable. We're going to check the vicinity. There's nothing around. All right, look at that. We picked up a better bow. So we can pick up this, which is a ballista bow. Now, a ballista bow is going to require quite a lot to pull it back. But we've got that now, which is pretty cool. Now, we don't really have anywhere to store because we've got our bedroll. We're using everything up at the moment. So we'll keep this. But we actually want to keep this item out. So we're going to make sure we've always got an item. We've always got an item, which is good. And in here, again, we can check. So we can check in here, search these. The lockers and all the other things are empty. So there's not really much we can do there. There are a couple of beds. We'll check the mattresses because sometimes they do have money within them. Always worth checking. Not in this condition, though. We're okay. We're going to head outside. Now, these are lockers that we can search. Sometimes they're going to be locked. This one is not. There is a zombie here, though. All right. Loads of zombies, so that's what we've got to be careful about. All right, so the first one's dead. Now we can kill the second one. Now, the second one actually hurt us. We've got to be very careful we don't die here or get hurt too much. We don't want to go too deep. There we go. Both of these are now dead. So what we're going to do, we're going to search these. See what they got on them. So this is construction boots, which we've already got. That's fine. Although these ones are in better condition than ours, so we'll swap them over. I'm actually going to, at this stage, chop up this puppet. Because again, I want the skin off of the puppet, and I'll explain why in a minute. The skin is really important. We want to take that with us. We're also bleeding. We need to consider what we're going to do with these rags. So I'm going to take the human skin. I will need to put the bedroll on the floor for now so that I can pick up this human skin. I can't actually take it here. I'm going to have to put some of this stuff down into my jacket because this stuff doesn't weigh much. But the problem I've got is my jacket has a certain weight to it. So I'm going to put all of this stuff in here, and then the human skin can now go. I can't really take the bedroll because I want to take the quiver instead. Even though I actually prefer the bedroll would be better for us. But we'll pick that up again in a minute. Let me just go and get this other. Okay, so we'll do this. All right, and we're good to go. So the idea here is that I can chop up these bodies and I can take the skin from them. And we don't want to go too deep. We don't want to get into too much of a fight here. At this stage, we're just trying to get some basics. It's going to allow us to get to the next stage of what we need to do. So, human skin. Picking those up. Also tactical military pants, which is brilliant. So I've got these pants on at the moment. I can now pick up these tactical military pants. Now I'm going to wear these because we're going to fix them later. And by putting these on, not only do I get the rags from the other pants that I can take if I need to, I do lose a couple of spaces from them, unfortunately. But these, as you can see, much, much bigger inventory space. So yeah, just working on better inventory. And some better items at the moment, but the human skin is what I want. I'll take the rags as well for now. I don't really need anything else at this stage. I could take a needle. I think I have a needle, but I don't think it's got much left on it. It's at 12%. That's fine. We'll leave that needle. That's okay. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3 skins, which is good. That's what we wanted. 3 skins is really important. We've kind of been through everything else now. I found a gun here. So we're just going to have a quick look around here. Now, I looked in this room already, but what I didn't do, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to go down there. Instead, I'm just going to search in here. And in this one, I actually found a gun. So what I'm going to do is, it's really difficult to know what I want to keep at this stage and what I want to get rid of. I'm going to get rid of the stone axe because I can always make one of those later. And I'm going to take the Kar 98 instead. Now I've actually got myself a gun, which I don't know if it's got any bullets in it. I don't really want to know at the moment. I can examine it to have a look. But the condition of it, yeah, we'll sort that out later. But I'm going to head out now. I've picked up a lot of stuff, some really, really good stuff from here. Now, I'm not going to go any deeper into that bunker. I'm not going to go down into that facility. I'm not going to deal with that yet. That's all stuff I'll deal with later. For now, however, as a starting point, that's given us more than we need. So really good that that's there. We can come back at any time. Now we know it's there. We're going to continue heading in this general direction. Now you might not find a gun. You might not find a jacket. You might not find anything. You might find a backpack. It's always going to be different depending on your playthrough, where you land, what you find. It really varies. So you need to be able to adapt to the environment. That's the key here. But we picked up quite a lot of stuff. We're doing quite well. We do want to make sure that we're not too hot and that we've got, because it's not just about inventory space. You're not just like, I'm gonna wear as many clothes as I can, because then you're gonna overheat. So you've got to make sure that you balance everything out. But what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna head down towards the water, because we can see that this is on the edge of the water here. And in front of us, you can see we're in the safe zone now, so we're all good. But in front of us, you can see this is the trader outpost, the area that we're aiming for. So within an hour of playing this game, just over now, we have managed to complete the onboarding process. That onboarding process has given us 22 fame in total, including all of the other bits we've done. Quite a lot of inventory. We've got lots of different stuff here, which is good. So it's stuff we can sell. But what we're aiming for now we're here is we want to get a base down. Okay, so the idea is we want to be able to build a base. So Step 1, you need to be able to feed yourself. And if you've struggled at this point, you can come into general goods. Now, when you come into any of the traders, there's going to be these signposts. Always has the same building. It's got a bank, a saloon, a barber shop. It's got general goods, armory, mechanic, fishing supply, and hospital. And the bottom 5 here are what you're really interested in. So we're going to start in general goods. We're going to come inside. And you can have a chat with this guy. So press F to trade. Now, there's things that we can buy. These categories, some of them are locked. This one's locked until 35 fame points. Now, some of these were also locked. Food was locked until 15 fame points. But because we've got enough fame points, we can go ahead if we want to. We can buy food. We can also buy crafting material, but we haven't got any money at the moment. So we need to sell some stuff first. So click on sell. Have a look at what he's going to buy. He'll buy the beer from us, so we can click on this. He'll buy the beer, so that's going to give us like 23. He'll buy one of the knives from us, so he'll buy that knife from us. But look, he'll give us $800 for that screwdriver. That is a huge win for the screwdriver. And also the mustard as well. We don't need mustard at the moment, so he'll take that as well. So we can get rid of the beer, get rid of the screwdriver, get rid of the mustard. And if we do all of that, and we sell that, that's going to give us loads of cash. So that's what we wanted as a starting point. Now, the other places, and we're just going to go and visit them. If we look around, there'll be signs so you can see who you're talking to and where you're going. So what we're looking for, I'm going to run all the way around here. So run around the outside here. There's a sign. It's up on the board there. So as we get around, you'll see this says mechanic. And so that's the mechanic. So we'll come in here. If we've got any car parts or anything like that, he will buy them off of us. We don't have anything that he wants to buy, so he's not going to offer us any money for anything. Okay. So we can buy stuff from him. Also fishing, but for fishing, there's nothing really that we can offer this guy. We can try to sell him, but again, looking at the price, there's nothing he wants to buy from us. All right. Now we'll keep running back round. We're back to almost where we started. There's the armory over there in the distance. And then here, we've got the pharmacy. So anything worth selling there. So we're going to come in here, come into the armory. Now, we did pick up a gun. We were very fortunate to pick up. So if we want to sell this to him, go to holsters. He'll give us 99 for the ballista, and he'll give us 350 for the Car 98. So we could use the Car 98 because to buy it, we would have to have for weapons, so ranged weapons, unlock at 50. And if we look at rifles, we need 150 fame points to unlock these. So the Car 98 needs 150 fame points, plus however much it costs to buy it. So we could technically keep this. It's a good weapon to have. And if we kept it, we just need to buy the ammunition. Now, we don't have any ammunition at the moment. So whilst we could sell this, and it's absolutely possible for us to do that, we could also keep it. It's totally up to us. We can buy explosives. We've got enough to buy explosives. We can buy mines, so we can make a practice bomb. But it's going to cost us a lot of credits. So right now, we're going to go ahead and sell. We'll sell the gun just for now, just to give us the money. We'll keep the bow. Got a good bow, and we'll keep the spear. So we've got those two. All right, so we've got our basic items there. And we've got loads of cash. So there's nothing else we actually need at this stage, except to go back to the start. Oh, it's actually just around this way. We're almost there. Just cut through here. There's general goods. That's what we're looking for. So go back into general goods. And there's two things that we're going to do here. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to speak to this gentleman. And we're going to buy some crafting material. We're going to scroll down. And we are going to buy ourselves some thread. Now it costs 153. We need to click on it, left click so it says 1. And we're going to go ahead to cart, to purchase. And then we're going to drag this across into our inventory. All right. So now that we've got that thread, which is what we needed, we can go ahead and we can start getting ready to craft. So the first thing we want to make, if we haven't already, if we go to crafting and clothing, is we want to be able to make ourselves a improvised backpack. It's not the best backpack, but it's the best one we've got in the game. But to make this, we need sewing thread. So we're going to come back and we're going to make some improvised sewing thread because we can craft that now because we've got our thread and our needle. So we can go ahead and craft that. And hopefully that needle is going to be okay. we're going to get another use out of it. Nope, that needle's gone, so that's all we got. But we've got enough of those now. So now, to craft this, we've got enough sewing threads. We've actually got enough of everything. We've got 2 skins. That's why we kept the human skins. So 2 human skins. We've got 5 rags. We just need a little bit more rope. Just a little bit more rope. So to do that, really simple. All we need to do is chop down a tree. But guess what we got rid of and we don't have anymore? We don't have our axe. So instead of chopping down a tree, we're going to come outside and instead we're going to find a little one of these to chop down with our knife. Now we just need to get 4 sticks. And we know that if we've got 4 small sticks, so 1, 2, 3, and a long one, so we'll cut a long one into a small one. We'll make some rope, which we can make from here. And then we can make our backpack. We'll go ahead and craft this. Then we come back to clothing. And now we're going to be able to make our improvised backpack because we're going to have everything we need to be able to craft that. Oh, except... Oh, I know what we left behind. We need to go back. I didn't pick up the sewing thread. I left it in the general store. So we'll just pop back into here.
Welcome, welcome.
Talk to him, go to the depot. Or did we pick it up? Oh, no, we didn't leave it on the floor. Wait, what? Where's that gone? We must have used it. Did we come outside to use it? Oh, it's on the floor. We left it on the floor over here. So, okay, that was a mistake. So there we go. I was going to say, I know I didn't use it. So it was on the floor, which is why you got to be careful. So coming back now to crafting. And now we have everything we need. We just need a bit more rope. So we've got 10. We need a little bit more, but we've got everything we need here. Let's head back out. Don't make that mistake I just made. Come to where these sticks were. All right, so 2 small and a long. So we're going to cut the long one into small. Because look, we need 16 and we've only got 14. All right, so now we can go ahead and we can craft some more rope. That will give us 20 rope. So now we've got sewing kits. We've got the 2 human skins from the puppets. Again, they weigh quite a lot, so you need to be able to carry them. We've got everything that we need. So now we can go ahead and we can make this improvised backpack. So we're going to go ahead and craft this using all of these resources that we've got. And that should be everything that we need in order to make it. So we're going to look at what's required. 5 rags, of which we've got. We've got 5 rags already, so that's good. 2 human skins, yes. 16 rope, yes. 3 sewing. We're not using the thread. We're just using these. So we've unselected those. And a cutting tool. So we're going to go ahead and craft our improvised backpack. That's the first thing we want to make. We also have an additional human skin. There's a reason for this. We want 3 in total. So, first item. Once this is made, it takes a little while. This is going to give us, until we find like a military or a patrol or a hiking backpack or something with like maximum space, this is the next best thing that we can do. And it's going to give us, as you see, now we're going to equip it. But by equipping it, we're going to lose this one. So we're going to take everything out of this one. And now we're going to cut this one into rags because we no longer want the courier backpack. It no longer serves a purpose to us. Okay, so we get the 3 rags back. And instead, we're going to equip this one. And as you can see, much, much more space as a result. Much more space. So we've got this. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the improvised quiver that we've got. So we'll go ahead and cut that into rags because that was a single slot. And in clothing, we can now craft the animal skin quiver. So this again, sewing kit, cutting tool, and 1 skin. Now this is going to be wider. And so we're going to use this. And we can now go back and pick up the bedroll because we know where that is. And we can figure out where we're going to set up our base. So we'll go ahead and we'll equip that. So there we go. We've got a wider space for that. We've got a backpack. So this now, absolute starting point. Also, we can right click this and repair it because we've got a sewing kit. Because it's an improvised sewing kit, we can only repair it to 50%. So we're not going to get all of the space, but we are going to get most of it. So there we go. We've got most of the space there. And that's it. We can pick up the rags. We can even take some small wooden sticks with us if we want to. We'll take these because we can turn these into arrows. So now we've got our bow and arrow, our improved one. We've got our spear. And also, last thing that we're going to make, we're going to search this car. And inside this car, we're going to get some metal scraps. So we're going to take some metal scraps from the car. And that is going to allow us to craft. We are going to need to go to melee weapons. We want to make this improvised spear. For that, I'm going to need a long wooden stick. So last thing I need to do, find one of these to cut down. And I want a long stick. And I'll get rid of the stone now because I don't need the stone spear. And I'm going to use a metal spear instead. So again, just getting to the stage where I can keep upping my game and getting better and better items. So an improvised metal spear. I can now get rid of this one. Now, sadly, with these, there's nothing you can do. I can just throw it on the floor and I'll take this one instead. So now, as you can see, within the first hour and a half, we've done everything that we need to do. So let's head now to the last thing on our list because we bought everything we need. Look at, right, we do need some protein and some carbs. All right, we can do that. So let's quickly just buy some food because we don't really have. Oh, we do have a garlic, so I guess we can eat all the garlic. It's not going to taste very nice, is it? But I mean, we can eat it. So just have a look at what this is going to give us. All right, it's going to give us some energy. It's going to give us some carbs. So that's fine. It's going to give us some water. We need some fiber really. So we definitely need some protein. So here we can go into food. We can look at processed or fresh food. So if we look at fresh food, we can get fruit. So there is fruit that we can buy. So for example, coconuts. We mentioned coconuts before, so we can go ahead and buy. Let's go ahead and buy a coconut. So buy one of those. All right. The next thing that we can buy, if we go into food, is processed food. All right. Now we can look at some of this stuff. Now we don't want to spend loads and loads of money on this. We can actually search ascending by cash. Salt. So we can buy salt if we want to. Chocolate bar. Baking soda, all of this stuff, chocolate bars. Okay, so chocolate bars are quite crap. We can buy some Bunny Star cereal, right? It's going to be good for carbs. So we can go and do that. But what we really want is a bit of protein. So we're going to have to find something that's going to give us protein. And we're not really going to get it from this. Sardines would give us something, but they're quite expensive. So we don't really want to spend money on that if we can help it. But that would help just as a starting point. And we can open those quite easily. We can go ahead. We'll just buy one of those for now. Oh, actually didn't buy that. So processed food, sardines. We'll go and buy one of those. And then we'll go and buy ourselves one more thing. And we're going to buy ourselves some cereal. So going up for the cereal bar, we'll get the Bunny Star cereal. We'll buy one of those as well. And that is just going to keep us ticking over. So we'll go ahead and take all of that. We'll eat the sardines right now. We'll go ahead and eat the coconut as well. And if we look at our metabolism, that's going to... Our energy is at 28 at the moment, but that's all going to kick up now. And we're going to get all completely sorted because the sardines, loads of protein. Bit of fat as well, but that's okay. Mainly protein, loads of water. The coconut's going to have loads of fat, but also it's going to have carbs, which we need. So some carbs there. We can get some more carbs if we want to. Looking at our body, by the way, and how it's processing right now. So we can come and grab some cereal as well. We can just eat some cereal. We've got 4 coconuts, so we can go ahead and eat another one. We can eat another cereal, and that is going to keep us pretty much, not full, but ticking over. So by the time we process that, we're just going to pop over to the bank, and we're going to get our card and deposit some money. Because we don't need any more money. We've got everything we need now. We can turn these sticks as well into arrows, which is what we were going to do. So we go to crafting. We go to ammunition. Go to wooden arrows. Now we can make different types of arrows, but we're just going to make these for now. We're going to auto craft as many as we can. Now it's going to put them on the floor. We are going to have to pick them up, but we'll get rid of all these sticks. All right. And then we just pick these up. And now we've got bow and arrow. We've got some stuff there, some stuff here. We're good. We've got some money, all good. Let's head over to the bank.
Make sure to stop by again.
So the bank on the arrow we can see is this way. So we're going to head over this way. Checking out now, by the way. Energy is going up. Everything's looking good. We're happy. So in the worst case scenario, you can still just loot some stuff and get to here. All right, now we need the bank. Here is the bank. We're going to go inside. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to buy a new bank card. So we have our starter card, which we don't care about. So we're going to cancel that card. We don't want it. Yes, it's gone. We have two options. We can buy a classic or a gold card. Now, we do want to buy gold. That is something we want to purchase, but it costs 5,000 credits for this, and we can't afford it right now. So we're going to have to buy the classic card. 1 free renewal, one digit pin protection, and daily withdrawal limit is doubled from the starter card. So we're going to buy it for 100. Choose a pin number. It doesn't matter what you choose, but if you're on a PvE server, sandbox, this doesn't matter. If you're on a PvP server, then what I recommend you do is go into your card and put in the wrong pin number twice. So you've only got one attempt remaining. That way, if someone steals your card, they've got one guess and not three, especially if it's only a single digit. But if you put your pin in correctly, then you can come in here and we can deposit. They do take a fee. They take 2% commission. But I can now go ahead if I want to, and I can put 400 into my bank with the commission that they're going to take, which is going to be their 2%. We can go ahead and submit that. Yes, and we've got $392 in the bank. So now if I lose my bank card, I can come here. I can click on my cards. I can click up here and I can renew my card. I get 1 free renewal. What that basically means is that I can renew my card. So if I die and I've got my card on me, then I come back here, renew my card, and that way I know that I can get my money out. So it's a way of saving money in the game. All right. Money is used to respawn. If I die, it costs 250 credits to respawn in a random place. So we're going to try not to die. All right, that is it. We've covered all of the basics and everything we need. Now, antibiotics in our body at the moment, which is great. We've got a great immune system at 500%. We've got to work on everything else. We're getting there. We've got a few basics here. Nothing we need to worry about. We can take a drink of water. Just check on our water at 51%. So we'll take a drink of water, some fresh water there. All right, we're good to go. So the only other thing that we have left to do is build a base. And we can do that later, somewhere where we can store stuff so we don't have to take it with us. Now, you can stash things and store them, but in order to do that, we go to our crafting, we go to base building, we go to all items, and the first thing you need to do to build a base is put a flag down. So when you place a flag, we have to place it in an area. Now, we can't place it here because there's as you can see, a red area, and that means we've got to come out of the safe zone. Come out of the safe zone, put the flag down. When you make the flag, by the way, the flag requires metal scraps, rags, bolts, and a toolbox. Now, you can make a toolbox, but it's quite a lot of material you're going to need to be able to craft this. Once you've done that, you can start building base elements. But before that, you can actually put down storage. So storage is quite easy. It just needs some bolts, which I've got. I've got some bolts. I need more. Some rope and some planks. So we're going to craft another axe. We're going to go and put down a wooden chest, and then we can use that as our storage location. All right, and that can become our little starting point. We can also make a fire ring, make a bed, make an improvised workbench. So we don't have to go and find a workbench. It means we can make better, we can craft to use ammunition and bolts and things like that. Make a well so that we can get water when we need it. Make a little shelter for ourselves. We can make a little basic shelter just to keep us going. Also, we can make a small raft if we want to. So get some items here to make a small raft to go out on a boat. Make a wheelbarrow, which we can do as well. We can get some wheels, things like that. All that fun, cool stuff that you can make and play with here, just to be able to, you know, kind of improve your chances of survival. So with that being said, I'm not going to go into base building now. You can do that. You've done a fire pit already, so you know how to do it. It's the same process. Just go ahead and you can go ahead and build. We're not going to do that. What I'm going to do, just to wrap up the rest of this tutorial, because we've pretty much covered the basics now, is we're going to go back to the general goods. Now, if we find a mobile phone, we'll keep the mobile phone. If it's got a battery, we can use that to get quests. Also, we're slightly warm at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to look for this quest book here. Press F, and this is now going to open up the quest book. So we can find things that we need. So the first one that we can accept is basic comms. So to make it easier for you to communicate with me and other shopkeepers, find a mobile phone that's not completely destroyed, attach a battery, smartphone battery with some charge to it. We can finish some jobs remotely if you have a phone on you. I'll have a bunch ready by the time you finish. So we get $50, we get 2 fame points, but we have to be able to turn in, find a mobile phone, and we need to turn it into the trader. So we're going to press spacebar to be able to do this. We have to hold space.
I would be really grateful if you could do it with haste.
All right. So there we go. So now that is what we need to do. So we've got quests. So look at our journal. We can see what it is that we need to do. So look at what outpost we're at. So if we look at all the different outposts, you can see what quests we've completed and what ones we've done. And if you look at the map by pressing M, you can see we are in Z3. So we are currently at the Z3 outpost, currently doing our first quest. And if we look at our journal, it tells us what we need to do. So that's it. We are going to work through our journal. We are going to do quests. We are going to get our fame points. We are going to put more money in the bank until we have enough money to buy a gold card and start buying gold. And that is the current process of the game. And so to get started, the most important thing that you need to do, improvise backpack, animal skin quiver. Try and get a decent jacket and some pants. That's a good starting point. Now, I can, if I want to, get rid of those. They're actually making me quite warm at the moment, and so I want to be careful not to overheat, especially because of where I am. I can wear them, but they are a quest item, so I will turn them in later, which is why I'm going to keep them. Now, you won't know that at this stage, but sexy denim shorts, keep hold of them. And if you find a mobile phone, great. So what we need to do now is we need to head back to where we was. We're going to go and get our bedroll. We're going to go and put a base down. And that is going to allow us, at least, if nothing else, if we can go and make some more money. So we'll go back to that big town that we saw there. We'll start looting it bit by bit, gradually. And the idea is as we start looting and we start doing this, we're going to start acquiring more money. And we're going to be able to, if we do die, at least respawn in the same location. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to be able to survive. Okay, so you need to be able to have food. You don't want to be living off rummaging food. You want to be cooking food. So you want to be near a farm or something that is going to be able to like help you survive. For that, we really ideally need to move more inland over here. This area here. Find a farm, pot of water over here. So something like maybe over here. So this could be a good place around B2. There's some stuff here, some good areas here. So maybe what we're going to do is we're actually going to head up to B2 and see if we can find some stuff up there. We're just going to go and get the bedroll at the moment. And you need to try and find an area that's got some food, that's got some water, that we can set up as a base. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find a farm, and we're going to set up a base at the farm that's going to allow us to get around. We also want to try and find, as quickly as possible, a bike. Because a bike is going to allow us to get around a lot better. And so we really want to try and do that if we can. And the next thing after we've got a bike, and we've got that, and everything else done that we need, let's just come in here. As you can see, those bodies have despawned. That bedroll should be here. I think I left it in here, though. No? I must have despawned. I thought I left the bedroll in something. I must be wrong. Okay, so it despawned. I didn't think it would despawn. I don't know why. I thought bedrolls, for some reason, I thought bedrolls would have been different. I don't know why. Anyway, it's despawned. That's fine. It happens. It's one of those things. So, nothing we can do about that. We don't really want to waste any more time here if we can help it. Just going to absolutely triple check. Yeah, bit of a shame, but that is what it is. All right, cool. So now we're going to head out and we're going to try and find, as I mentioned, the things that we need. So nothing really else here at the moment for us. We can search these. Have a look inside them. There's a couple more here to search. There's a beanie there we can take. There's some gloves there as well that we can take. A few more boxes here, but otherwise, pretty much most of this done. Our only goal right now is to find a mobile phone. All right, nothing else up here. We'll search this, but that's fine. Cool. So heading into town is what we need to do. As again, setting up a base is important. We do not want to die. We do have our bow and arrow. Super important to have that. Aiming it and getting the white dot up the screen, that's thing that you're going to want to do, because aiming that bow and arrow and not being able to do that, you're always going to want to go into first person if you can help it. It's going to make it a lot easier when you're aiming things. So you can see I've got the dot there. So you see that white dot that I can see? But you can't kind of see it now. So what you really want is to be able to see that when you're aiming. You can always, if you're aiming, by the way, use the right mouse button to pull it back. All right. So we've got bow and arrow, we've got our spear, we've got our backpack. What we really want to craft now, the next thing on our list to craft, if we go into crafting and we look at items and we look at clothing, is we absolutely want to craft a bulletproof armor. Now for that we need 3 skins. We've already got our sewing kit, so that's fine. So we need bolts and we need metal scraps. So that is our next purchase, or our next find. So we're going to head into town. We're going to try and kill 3 puppets, pick up their skins. And by the way, we can keep everything else in our pants, so we don't really need the paper. But the thread, we always keep thread and sewing kits on us. We're always going to keep the water on us. You know, I mean, for some reason we keep a frying pan in our pants, because you never know, right? You never know. Animal skin quiver, we'll leave that as it is. That's fine. All of this stuff, I mean, we don't need it, but we can just put it down here for now. Actually, a good idea for the bank card is going to be to put that in our pants, because we've got space for it. We've also got some cash. So we can hold down control, middle mouse wheel up, and we can rotate it. So we'll put that in there. So now those 2 are in there. And we do have some metal scrap, which is cool. We're just going to put these in here. We can just drop them onto the item itself. You don't have to put them in nice and neatly. Just drop them across. That's all in there. And now our backpack is empty. All good. And also, if we want to put this in here as well. Cool. So we're in a good place right now. In fact, I'm going to put this in here. There we go. We'll eat some food. Keep an eye on our metabolism. We're still at 35%. That's fine. We're eating loads, carbs are up, everything else up. We've got 92% energy, so we're in a really strong place. We've got everything that we need. Now we're on a hunt for our mobile phone. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get started playing SCUM. That's everything that you really need to know at this stage for you to be able to have the best start in this game. Depending on where you start, it's either going to be easier or harder for you. You do need to take into consideration, so right now we're a bit warm. So, we've got a foot abrasion that we just picked up. Walking over a cactus there. It's all right, it will go. Not a problem. We just need to wait. It's a C1. So that's because... Do we not have anything on our feet? We have. Oh, our boots have just broken. Okay, so our boots are broken. Not really much we can do about that at the moment. I'm going to put a military cap on, I think, over the beanie. I prefer that. We need to find some better quality boots. We're basically running barefoot now. All right, and we're going to keep heading into town. So just follow this path over here. And again, we can do this now. There's also a little bit over here. We can go and visit all of these different points of interest. There's so many different things for you to inspect and to look at and to learn and understand. The thing that you need to be the most cautious about is NPCs. NPCs in this game will kill you quite easily. They have guns. They act like players. You'll think they're players. They don't act like puppets. They run around. They're quite stealthy. They'll try and flank you. They'll try and get shots off on you. But they will fight puppets. So if you see puppets, chances are there's no NPCs. If there's no puppets, be cautious. Always be cautious when you don't see any puppets. And if there are loads of puppets, chances are the NPC might fight the puppet and then you can just go and finish it off. So sometimes you can do quite a lot just by watching. We don't have a gun at the moment. So we still need to be very careful in what we're doing and how we're doing it. There's the main road. So we're going to head down here. All right, we're going to eat some coconut. Just keep our energy up. And now we're going to go and do some looting. So, same thing as before. We're going to come in pretty much where we was before as well. We're going to come in from the left side, which is where that beach area was. We saw the caravans. Everything there's good. Right, boots is definitely one of the first things we want to find. Those foot abrasions not really helping. Okay, and so we're just coming up to it now. As we can see, our carry weight is quite high, but all of our stuff, because we're in pain, and the pain that we're in at the moment is due to this foot abrasion. And so nothing we can do about this. We just need to wait for it to go away. So we're currently classed as barefoot because our construction boots are knackered and we can't do anything with them. So we're actually going to just drop them on the floor. They're pretty worthless to us. Now we don't want to be barefoot. So the first thing we're going to do is try and find some. Now we could, with our rags, craft ourselves. If we were to select all these rags, we can craft ourselves some rag shoes. Now, rag shoes are not ideal. But if we crafted some rag shoes and put them on our feet, it would help us. Now, they're not going to last very long. But if you're dealing with stuff like this and you don't want that foot abrasion to get any worse because it could turn to a C2, instead, there we go, it's now gone. All right, it's stabilized. We've got rid of it because we're wearing these. But as we run along with these, they're just not going to last that long. So, yeah, should have kept the trainers on. That's my bad. But we're back here now. We're at the caravans where we was before. We've already searched the caravans. We know that. So we're going to keep an eye out. Moving very carefully. NPCs could literally be anywhere. Right, we'll take whatever we find at the moment and then we can search and sort it out a bit later. Tons and tons of rubbish here. Right, there's no puppets at the moment. Right, there's some salt. We're looking for mobile phones. That's what we're looking for. Now, chances of finding them in here is pretty slim. But you actually don't know what you're going to find unless you start looking. So you do have to get in, start looting, start looking around, seeing what's here. There's a fridge here. There's loads of space in this fridge, so we can store stuff in it. And we can also look at the cupboards, open up the vicinity, see what's around. Do like looking inside the bathrooms because often you find some good clothes in the washing machines. Take some sea salt. Looking in the vicinity, nothing there. Most of the stuff in here is knackered. There is a kilt. We don't actually need a kilt at the moment, though, so we're going to leave that. Or we could, if we wanted to, cut this up into rags. This is going to give us some of those rags that we just used up because we used them up on our feet. Not the best quality, but we'll take them for now in case we need any bandages or anything like that. There's some matches. We'll take those. I've got a lettuce and a kitchen knife, so we can take both of those for now. And we can have a quick look upstairs. Mattresses, always check those. All right, look at that. We've got a school backpack. So having a look at the school backpack and the size of it compared to the size of ours, we can actually see the school backpack isn't as big. But there you go. We could have a school backpack instead of the improvised one. Unfortunately, the school backpack's no good. Instead, what we can do is cut that into rags because this one's just much bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this one back on. So we'll equip that one. And this one, which isn't as good, we're going to cut it into rags. Or we can keep it and we can keep our main one in our base and take the other one out with us in case we get into trouble. Okay, we'll just keep some rags with us for now. Oh, look, there's another school backpack there. Same thing. I'm not going to bother doing anything with this one. I don't think I need to at this stage. Pretty much covered what we're doing. We're going to head back out. We've got enough rags. If we need to make anything with rags, we can. Just taking our time, looking around. In the shop here, we can see we've got some vinegar. Very nice. Also, we can see we've got some cocoa powder. Maybe some cash. No cash. Nothing in the storage here, which can check in this box. No. Okay, so not really a lot in here, to be honest. All right, so just working through. We can go and check up here. It is very quiet here. There's no puppets. That, to a degree, does worry me. There's also not really a lot of stuff to loot around here. All right, look at that. We found some thread and a lighter. Great. We don't need the matches anymore. Oh, we've got a lighter. What is that? Some more gloves. All right, so these gloves are in much better condition, so we'll take those. Search the bed. Cash, 50 cash. Good. Our first big pull. Nothing really in there. So we can go and check the rubbish and everything over here. Sometimes you find thread and things like that in the rubbish. Sometimes you find good items. What we really want is the puppets, because the puppets typically will have a mobile phone on them. What's that? Raisins. All right, we'll take the raisins. Nothing else there really for us. There we go. Look, we found a flare in the rubbish. Okay, keep moving through. Don't really need a wine cork at the moment. We're checking the cupboards just to see if there is anything. Pretty sure there's not. We'll check the rubbish. Always check the mattress. Given the fact that cash is king. All right, I've got a leather backpack this time and a shirtless sleeve. So this one, again, just not as much space. It's not as good for us. So we're going to keep the one we've got. But always good to know. We don't really need to do anything with this. So we can take it in and sell it if we wanted to. Same with the shirt. We don't really need it, to be honest. So these are at like 72%, these rags. So these rags are not very good. So we can get rid of those ones. There's also a rag up here that I saw that's at like 50%. So we can take this, because this is at 95%. And if we cut this into rags, the quality of the rags we're going to get as a result are going to be much better. We also don't need the beanie, so we can get rid of that. Anything that's just not valuable for us. See, now these are at 91% rags, so we'll take these. The 91s are worth much more. They're much better for us. We'll get rid of some of these 55s. We don't want them. Get rid of some of the 75s as well. We don't need them. But look, we're at 79%. We need to find some shoes. All right. Working our way through. Diary, not really worth that much, but good to find it. Checking out the kitchen. Yeah, not really much here, unfortunately. We'll check upstairs. You never know what you're going to find, so it's always worth checking. The whole point of this game, the looting section of this game, is to be able to find things and to sell them. There's a barbecue cookbook there. Can go up again. Always worth just having a quick check on the top floor, because again, you never know what you're going to find. So we've got some driving gloves there. We're not going to take them with us. We don't need them. Nothing in there. All right, we're good. Let's go. So now you can see, very easy to find rags, very easy to pick up things that you're going to need. In a town that at the moment looks absolutely deserted. Oh, well, that's pretty much the... Oh, there is a puppet there. Good. Okay, finally we found ourselves a puppet. So he's going to come and attack us. We have our metal spear. Very easy to kill him. We'll do the search. Now, if we want his skin, we can take his skin. Matches. He's got some high-top shoes, so we'll take the high-top shoes and put them on. Now, we can actually repair those, so we'll do a little repair on them. Wait a minute. They are high-top shoes. They're also high-top shoes. Yeah, we'll do the repair on these ones. And the cool thing about high-top shoes is that sometimes if you wear them, they've got actual space. So whilst these ones don't, the other ones, these ones, they actually have space where we can actually store stuff in them. So if I was to repair these ones, as opposed to the other ones, I quite like these ones though, so the sneakers ones. But these ones actually have storage space, so I can actually keep stuff in there if I wanted to, in my boots. All right, we'll get rid of the raggy boots now. We don't need them anymore. We don't need any animal skin anymore. We've kind of got everything we need from that. There's another guy up here. Oh my god, my aim is so bad. Anyway. Very, very hard to be able to aim this thing. This is why I prefer the melee. Rags, a military shirt, which, if we were to look at the inventory, it only has 2 spots on it and a magnifying glass. Well, we'll take the magnifying glass. Oh! Wow, okay, that was unexpected. That was a huge hit on the back of me there. I'm going to have to repair from that. Sort my health out. Just kill it off first. Big ones do tend to hurt a lot more. Only a bleeding injury C1. We can actually leave that. It will heal itself. So, yeah, they can really sneak up on you sometimes. Did not see that coming. Didn't really get much from it, though. Construction boots and a cotton hoodie. All right, so cotton hoodie can be good if we look at the inventory size. Not really that much. We could put that on over the top, but the leather jacket is kind of better for us. I'm going to look inside, see if there's anything in here. Chances of them leaving anything behind, quite low. But worth checking. Just some gloves on this side. Nothing really of any value. Some earplugs. Not really bothered about those. Sadly, no mobile phone. So we'll keep looking. We can, if we get a load of stuff to take back, we can actually buy a mobile phone if we need to. So if we don't have any luck finding one, we can go and buy one. Drinks machines, sometimes cash, most of the time a form of drink, if you're lucky. Can be a good place to get containers from. This place is pretty much abandoned by the looks of it. Right, well, we'll take a look upstairs, but I'm not really feeling very hopeful. This place just looks really abandoned. Nope. Okay, well, we'll, I guess, just go on the top floor anyway. Or this one, maybe. Like an office or something they had. And this is what you're going to do. Just back and forth, doing this, looting what you can, picking up everything that's available to you, and then some bubbles there, we'll take that. Taking it back to the trader, selling it. And then using that money to be able to... Hey, some sweatpants there. Sweatpants have got some good space on them, but these ones are better. I haven't got any space left. I'm pretty full at the moment. I'm going to check for any medication. Medication's always worth taking if you can find it. Just a bobby pin. All right, well, we'll take that. And yeah, that's us pretty much done. There is a roof. Really much up here, though, to be honest. Oh, and there is another bed. A couple of mattresses. And another biker leather jacket. Exactly the same as the one we got, although that one's got a red line and this one doesn't. I think I prefer this one. We could take the other one if we wanted to, try and sell it. Got the high top shoes, take the biker jacket. Yeah, nothing else there really worth any money, so we're going to head back. So we've pretty much done most of this town. Little seaside town that's been abandoned. So now we're going to work along... That first section's done. Now we're going to work into the second section, the second part of the town. So that's done the first part that we just did there. I kind of feel like we missed these buildings here, though. Yeah, I definitely don't feel like we did these buildings. And then we can keep moving along, and then we've got some big buildings over there. Hopefully they've got a bit more loot and a bit worth a little bit more. We'll see as we go. Oh, we didn't do any of this. Oh, cool. Not a lighter. We'll take that. Again, we'll just start replacing stuff now as we go through. Backpacks would be great. The other things we're looking for is obviously better trousers. Tactical trousers are probably some of the best. Jackets that we've got are great. Look at that. So we've got a backpack there. So I'm going to look at the inventory of that backpack compared to our one. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items wide. This one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 items wide. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items big. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items big. So actually what we've got is better. Tactical military pants as well. If we have a look at this, open the inventory on this. Yeah, ours is much better. So whilst these are good items and you can find them, it's good for you to see that they're available. Sexy denim shorts, which you've already got. Sweatpants. So again, you find a lot of stuff around places like this, which is really good. Let's just check out this building because I don't believe we did this one. Well, not really that much there. We're looking for medicine. Medicine is always valuable if we can grab it. Not a backpack, not a bobby pin. Nothing really that we're interested in, mind you. But, yeah, good to see. We'll keep going. We could go and quickly check upstairs. I don't want to spend too long in here, but we'll just have a quick look around. Check the vicinity. No, nothing really there. Check the bed because there's always cash in the beds. No, it was just a rag there, but not anything that we're interested in. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have to consider how much stuff we've got. Well, really not that much. You know, there's bigger, better things we could have found. Finding things like tool sheds. Sometimes you can find some really cool tools. So that's a good idea. Finding really expensive places. Or just keep finding puppets. As we start to getting deeper here. Where we really need to figure out what's going on. Who's around? What's happening? We heard a zombie. I think they're in that building there. I heard him bust the door open. Here he is. Cool. Oh, wow. He's not messing about. Just check my health. Just to see one. Keep looking around whilst I'm looting. Got some glue. Got some duct tape. Nothing of real value or importance though, so we'll get rid of that. Get rid of a couple of those. There's so many straps on us, we just don't need them. That's an NPC. You heard him laughing, that's an NPC. Don't know if we can see them. We don't really want to fight them. They sound like players. I did see a puppet actually just now. We'll fight the puppet. Oh, we need a drink actually as well, so we're not going to drink vinegar because that's not very nice for us, but we'll drink some of this. Just because we're on 28%. And we'll look to fill our water up when we get a chance. But otherwise, we're pretty good. Oh, we'll just do drink all. All right, that's going to sort our water out. Again, there's an NPC over there. We're not going to go and fight them. We'll take this guy out. And that's pretty much the end of the tutorial. So obviously the mobile phone is what we're going to look for. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to find it. I might find it really quickly. It might take me a lot longer. But I'm going to keep doing this until the point that I've got as much as I'm willing to risk. And then I'm going to head back. And I'm going to go back to the trader. I'm going to sell off everything that I can sell. And I'm going to keep rinsing and repeating and keep going town by town, village by village. So let's see if we can find this NPC. We're probably going to get shot here. And do you know what? If we do, that's okay. I don't actually know where they are. Could be over that side there. There's a lot of construction stuff up there. Car parts. We'll go down, we'll have a look, we'll see if we can find them. I imagine in one of these buildings here. There's a zombie there. Tactical military pants. Obviously, we got them on anyway, so we're fine. Take a safety pin with us. What were you guarding in here? Anything of value? We'll check the bed. We'll cut a shirt. We don't actually have a shirt on at the moment, so we can actually take that, put that on. Only problem is now we are going to be getting quite hot as a result of this. Just need to bear that in mind. Different military cap. That's fine. We'll keep the one we've got. I hear a zombie. Oh. Nice. We've got some ammo and some glue. You can hear the laughing. Some gunpowder. Don't really want the vinegar at the moment. Gloves out. Take the binoculars. Can eat the lettuce. What else don't I need? I think it might be that phone that's off the hook that's laughing. I'm not sure, but it sounds like it was an NPC. All right, we don't need matches. We don't need... What's that? Oh, me. Okay. We're good. All right, I want to pick that up. Some binoculars there, but we've already got some. We can take the rest. Possibly sell them. We don't really need bandages at the moment. There's nothing wrong with us. To be honest, I don't really want the wooden arrows either, so we'll get rid of those. Put that up there. Put those in the backpack. Take the glue with us. Get rid of the woolen gloves. Take the ammo. I'm going to go and check in that building. there's definitely a person in here. I'm confident. Upstairs, maybe? 2 of them? Oh. Uh-oh. He's going to explode. Yeah, okay, I get it now. All right, so we're going to leave it there for the tutorial, but you get the idea, and that's how easy it is to lose all of your stuff and then go to a random starting point. If we want to go back into the same sector we was in, it's 1,000. We don't have that. And if we want to go to our shelter, what we've built as a base, we first need a bed and a base, and then we need 1 gold. But yeah, that's it. That's the tutorial. We're going to look for a mobile phone. We're going to do that. I thought that was an NPC. I didn't realise. I've not come across them before, but yeah, they're the kind of guys you need to blow up from a distance. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if I do go for the random respawn, which is the only thing I can do, it's going to cost me some money out of my bank. And if we look on the map, we are now starting in the top right-hand corner. So we are nowhere near where we started. And we are literally starting with 0. So all we know is that we need to go to a trader with a mobile phone. But we have no gear. So we have to craft everything all over again. We've still got our fame points. So we still do have those, but yeah, unfortunately that is not the best way to be able to start the game, and just shows you how easy and quickly you can die in this game if you're not careful, and how you really do need to just be aware that anything in this game can and will kill you. It'll either be a gunshot, like a tap to the head that you don't expect, explosive puppet with a crazy laugh, which is weird because puppets don't normally laugh like that. So yeah, that was a strange one, but there we are. Look, back to where we started. The only difference is now we've got gloves and a beanie on because we're in a cold climate. But otherwise, apart from that, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.